Most of the men that I counsel have a deep father wound, probably about 80% of them. And I did also, with 7 abusive fathers. All I knew was a father smashing me in the face. Sometimes you can make decisions out of your pain that'll haunt you for years. I remember so well the moment that I made a decision that haunted me for 30 years.
No, it's not all right. I'm tired of bailing you out. You know how small it makes me feel?
Aye, it's all about you. Go have a pity party for yourself and leave me alone. I'm sick of your yapping.
It's my fault now. Of course it is.
What did you say? Listen here, my life was great until you and that little punk came along. I'm so sick and tired of the two of you.
Oh, and it's everyone else's fault now, isn't it? No wonder you can't get a job.
Get off my back! I'm warning you!
Loser!
Got you loser. I got enough of your loser, all right?
One of my stepfathers was beating my mother up. And he got tired of beating on her, so he drug her into the bathroom to drown her. I heard her fighting for her life. I was about 12 years old and maybe about 120 pounds wringing wet. He's about 6'2", 270, big guy. I went in and confronted him.
Wait, stop! Get in there! Get off you, little brat!
Well, that egged him on. He had a new meat to pound on. And I started to get up with blood pouring out of my mouth. And he pointed at me and said, "You get up, I'll kill you." I'm not stupid, I'm not getting up. But I made a decision that day, a vow, that I'd never let another man treat me like that. It took me till I was in my 40s before I finally realized sports were not about sports, they were about beating other men. In the military, I served my country, but they were about killing other men. Vows are what happens when the enemy takes our imagination captive. We only see the worst. We begin to live our life in light of what was done to us, in reaction to what someone did to us, and it begins to affect our ability to even dream and be able to see what God wants to do in the future. I realized that vow was something I had to renounce and turn from, because God wanted me to start dreaming the dreams of God instead of living in the past, caught in the past, rather than being able to dream in the present the goodness and the grace of God that he could bring into my soul.
When we talk about the wounds of the father, it doesn't necessarily just mean there were action wounds. Most often it means there was neglect wounds. The father really wasn't there, it wasn't connected. You know, Jesus taught us an interesting thing. He said this. He taught the disciples to pray, and he said to them, pray this way, our Father. Now we know God's without gender. Why did he tell us to pray our Father when we could just pray, O great Spirit who are in the sky, or O great God? He said specifically, pray this way, our Father. Why? Because a father in that context of what a father is means something. A father gives us love, acceptance, value, worth, intimacy, and security. So a father does these things for us, a true father. So when he says, when you think of God, think of a father with all the aspects of a father. A father who loves you, who affirms you, who gives you his name. A father who's there to provide security. A father who loves you without regard of what you did today. It's not like, hey, how good were you today? It's, I love you because you're my son. I love you because you're my daughter. And so when God says, pray to me and pray, my Father who art in heaven, our Father who art in heaven, it really is one of the most beautiful phrases, but for most people, it really is kind of like a broken, jagged piece of glass. It doesn't connect. So God wants to heal the father wounds in the men's and women's hearts, because that's what's caused us so often to make wrong choices and wrong decisions.